So good morning and welcome to this Wednesday morning active flow and breath work. My name is Brian G, and I am honored and delighted to be here with you today. Today's practice is going to be a little bit of core energizing effort and some activating breath work. So we'll get some energy raised in the core of the body, get the heat raised in the core of the body, and then we'll utilize that energy to power ourselves through some breath work, which will, raise us up even more. So we're going to get activated this morning, and then we'll come into our rest and allow all that to settle in and integrate. So that's our plan for today, and we'll see how that goes. As always, remember that support precedes action. So find your supports first, have what you need for your practice available, your blocks, your straps, your bolsters, blankets, eye shades. Maybe you have a chair for yourself today. Excuse me, anything that you need in order to find yourself supported in your practice. Make sure that's available to you. And then secondarily, remember that it is your practice. So you are in the privacy of your own space, doing your practice. I'm offering, suggesting, and inviting from here. The only requirement for you is to be present and to breathe. The rest of this is just suggestions. And so your pace will be different than mine. You will modify, I hope, as you need to in order to support yourself in any posture. You will come out of any posture at any time. You will take any alternate posture at any time. Listen to the wisdom of your own body. Follow the wisdom of your own body. Do what is right for you in your practice on this day, okay? And so with that in mind, keeping yourself here. We're going to start by centering. So let us land, come into this place, come into the space, bring yourself into a posture of support, whatever that means to you. So perhaps you're seated on a chair with your feet underneath your knees, hip distance apart. Maybe you're seated cross-legged on a cushion or a mat. Maybe you have your legs out in front of you. Maybe you have your back on the floor and your legs up a wall. Whatever posture allows you to find yourself supported fully in this moment. Take a moment to come into yourself, come into this place, come into this space. Find yourself here and bring yourself into yourself by coming into the breath. So the body is always in the present moment. So let us come into the body by coming into the breath. Find your breath as it appears underneath your nostrils and begin to follow that breath in through the nasal passages and down into the belly cavity. 360 breath, front, back, sides without stress, strain, or exertion. And then note the subtle turnaround as the exhale begins. Feel the subtle change in the body as the lungs deflate, and then follow the sensation of the breath in the nasal passages as it leaves the body. And then be right there at the beginning of the next inhale. Following that inhale in, and that exhale out. And having established ourselves in support and brought ourselves into the present moment, I'll invite you on your next inhale to float your hands to your heart in a way that brings awareness to your heart space, and allow to arise in your heart space any one thing for which you are grateful. A sense of gratitude, maybe just the possibility of gratitude here this morning. Whatever it is that you're grateful for, see it clearly in your mind's eye. And I invite you to anchor that gratitude right there at your heart space. And then, having established ourselves in support, come into the present moment and allow gratitude to rise. Finally, this morning, I'll invite you, if you choose, to set an intention for your practice. Perhaps just a simple intention to keep your gratitude centered or to follow your breath. Or whatever your intention is, state it to yourself. Hear yourself in your mind's ear as you state your intention in a clear and declarative voice as if it is already done. I'm grateful, I'm present. And taking a full inhale. As you exhale, if you choose, bow your chin to your intentional grateful heart and offer a benediction to seal your intention. Well, namaste. And releasing your hands to your knees, lifting your chin, straightening your spine, elongating and being present, rooting down into your sits bones, finding yourself fully here. Let us take a moment here to begin to activate with the breath. So we're going to start with a breath known as Surya Beta, Surya Beta, which is an activating breath, which is simply an inhale through the right nostril and an exhale through the left. Now, we use mental awareness here in Veterans Yoga Project to bring awareness to the nostrils. So we're just simply bringing our mind's awareness to the right nostril as we inhale. And then switching that awareness to the left nostril as we exhale. Continuing like this for 10 repetitions. Now, if your practice involves the use of a hand mudra to physically block the nostril, then you are welcome to do that. Remember, it is your practice. You're in the privacy of your space, and you can do your practice the way that you do your practice. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. Your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. So your breath may be different than mine, which as it should be. Just be in your practice. 10 repetitions of this breath. Inhaling left, inhaling right. Exhaling left. Body is very still. The awareness is on the breath in the nasal passage. Inhaling right. Exhaling left. And the focus is at the brow point if the eyes are closed, or just at the tip of your nose if your eyes are narrow. Just be still and breathe. It's all that is asked. All that is required. Be present and breathe. And repetitions of this pattern. Last couple if you're with me. If you finish your 10th before me, just sit quietly and integrate. Allow this stuff to settle. Feel into what is shifted for you. If you're moving slower than me, don't worry. We'll just sit and you'll catch up. After your 10th repetition, as you find yourself exhaling on your left nostril, and release your hands to your knees, palms up, thumb and forefinger together, and just sit quietly. Allow everything to settle. Turn your attention to the shift that might have occurred in your energetic body, in your mind state, in your awareness and presence. Just be still for a moment. Take a full inhale and a complete exhale. And then begin to come around to your mat. We're going to begin our movement practice today, and we're going to begin to move to just wake up the body first. Now, as I mentioned in the intro, today's practice is going to be core-centric. So let us start first by just getting some movement. So first of all, shake everything out. Find yourself standing. And then we're just going to march in place. High stepping, right? Lift the knees toward the chest. Place the back down. Begin to find the length of the stride that you want to take. And then begin to find the pace. Maybe you want to, feeling a little bit, maybe you want to add a little arm action here, a little pumping. Bring yourself into this movement. We're just kind of waking up and getting the body moving here before we start to. A few more here, just a few more. I'm going to do this long. All right, one more on each side. And then just rest, shake that out. Take a full inhale and a complete exhale. Our next movement is going to be either jumping jack or stepping jack. So for me, it'll be a stepping jack. Maybe you want to do the full jumping jack. If you're young and vigorous still, you can do that. You have the ability to bounce in your joints. But stepping jack is simply we hop the feet apart and the arms up and back together. For me, it'll be a stepping jack. You're going to simply step, get the arms up and return, and then go to the opposite side. So you decide how you want to be in your practice, and let us begin. Inhaling up as you step or jump, exhaling as you come back together. And we're just going to do this. And then begin to feel into your own rhythm, your own pace, your own breath, moving side to side or nothing. And then the speed with which you move or jump becomes a part of your practice. You're finding your own rhythm, your own pace, your own practice here this morning. And maybe you pick up the pace a little bit if you start to feel it, maybe not. Remembering it's all about your own practice. One more each direction, and then come back to center and then just release. Take a full inhale and a complete exhale. Full inhalation, complete exhale. Our next movement is going to be a standing crunch. So, right arm goes up, and then as we exhale, bring the right elbow to the left knee as we bring the left knee up. So it's a march in place, and then switch sides. Left arm, left elbow, right knee. Exhaling as you bring the elbow to the knee. Inhaling as you reach the opposite hand up and begin the next movement. And again, your rhythm, your pace, your practice. We're just going to do about 15 of these. And again, we're just warming up the body here and bringing our awareness to the movement that is occurring in our bodies. Couple more if you're with me. Last one. And again, just release, roll the shoulders, turn the palms forward, let the fingers extend, and take a breath. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Full inhalation. A complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale. Bring yourself down to your mat. And we're going to come into a posture known as mountain climber. And so essentially what we're doing here is we're working from a plank. So for a moment, keep your knees down while I explain. We're just going to bring the knee and the elbow together. It's like taking it into a lunge and then release. So we bring the knee to the elbow and then take the foot back and then switch sides. Now, if you're familiar with this part, you can move pretty quickly. You can pretty much be running in place in a plank. Again, your rhythm, your pace, your practice, your breath. Okay? So, find yourself in a plank posture. Inhale here to stabilize. Exhale, bring the right knee to the right elbow. And then inhale, bring the right foot back. Exhale, left knee, left elbow, left foot back. All right, 15 of these. So on each side, that's 1 and 2, and away you go. Your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. Moving as fast or slow. If this is too much for you, come down on your elbows. If it's too much for you, prop yourself up on your blocks. Find a posture that is supported as you're moving through this. Core is now engaged. Now we're feeling a little bit of heat, a little bit of movement. When you've reached your 15, go ahead and press the knees to the floor. Push the hips back toward the knees, toward the heels, and come into an extended wisdom pose or child's pose. Forehead drops to mat or to the block. Great place for support here. Place your block underneath your forehead at whatever height is appropriate for you. Feeling into your, and allow yourself to breathe. Full inhale and complete exhale. Full inhalation and a complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale. All right. And then come forward on your mat and roll to your back. And we're going to come to our next movement, which is a reverse crunch. So we start position. The knees are over the hips. Shins are parallel with the mat. Shoulders lift. Lower back stays planted. Shoulders lift. The hands are lightly behind the head. So we want to be careful not to pull on the head or neck. We're just resting the hands behind and bringing the nose to the knees. The exhale, we move the knees away from the face and lower the shoulders to the mat. Inhale, come back into that modified crunch. So it's a reverse crunch. Exhale away, inhale up, and begin. Yeah. And just be in your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice, feeling into your movement here. One more. And then release the feet. Let the hands come down by the side, turn the palms up. Either allow the knees to fall into each other, or just take the legs long and let the toes fall open. You're integrating now. We're just resting, allowing that to settle. Taking a moment to breathe, feeling into what's shifted for us. So notice your experience here and what's happened. Where are you in relative to where you were just a few minutes ago? Check in with your heart space. Where is your sense of gratitude? Where is your sense of intention? Our next movement is going to be heel touch. So bring the knees to the ceiling, the heels toward the hips. Now, depending upon your own body, you may be able to touch your heels. Your heels may be just in the vicinity of your hands, or maybe you're touching the front of your ankles. It's really dependent upon your own individuality. All we're going to do here is lift the shoulders. Again, the lower back is staying on the mat. And the movement here is to touch your heel or your outstep or your toes. It just depends on how your posture is. But we're going side to side. So on the exhale, right hand to right heel or right toe. And inhale to center, exhale, left hand to left heel or left toe or whatever, and back to center. So let's begin. We're going to do 12 of these. So here we are, right hand to right heel. Inhale, center, exhale, left hand, left heel or toe. Inhale, center, just continue your rhythm, your pace, your breath. Each side counts as a 1. So that's 4. And 5, if you're with me, again, your rhythm, your pace. 6, 6, 7, 7. Again, you're in your practice. Then when you finish your 12th one, go ahead and release. And again, walk the feet out, let the knees fall together, or just release the legs, let the toes fall up and turn the palms up. And rest. Integrate the movement and the energy of the movement, and then allow it to dissipate or dissolve, right? So we are bringing energy into a specific area of the body, particularly the core, on these exercises. And then when we're resting, we're allowing that energy to then release and flow through the body. So feel how that concentration occurs in the core and how that diffusion then occurs through the body, the dissipation. Our next is our bridge and dynamic bridge. So bring the heels and toes together, bring the heels towards the hips, the knees towards the sky. Now the knees are going to stay parallel to the hips and towards each other. So we're going to rotate the thighs inward so that the knees are almost touching, and then press into the feet. Feel that you can actually press into your feet. As you press into your feet, you may feel your pelvic bowl begin to tilt and your buttocks begin to roll up off the mat. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that pressure into the feet. You can bring the hands down by the sides, palms down. And again, press into the feet, the ball of the foot, the heel of the foot, and then roll up. So buttocks lift, lower back lifts, middle back lifts, maybe even the upper back lifts. All the weight is in the shoulders, perhaps no weight in the head or neck. Be gentle with yourself here. This is our bridge, and we're going to just pulse here. So dynamic bridges. On the inhale, the hips will lower towards the mat till they're just hovering. On the exhale, we'll roll back up, lifting the belly button to the sky. So again, 20 of these, your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your count, just moving with your breath. So it's a yogic move. If you think about this, it feels calisthenic in nature, but it's actually yogic because we're aligning the movement with the breath. So when the inhale starts, the body starts to move. When the inhale stops, the body stops to move. And the same is true on the exhale. When the exhale starts, the body starts to move. When the exhale stops, the body stops. Aligning movement with breath. Pulsing here. Now notice the tendency again of the knees to want to fall open. So keep rotating inward, pressing the knees away from the face, lifting the belly button to the sky. And then counting off your count, your rhythm, your pace, your practice, 20 repetitions. And when you get to number 20, stay lifted and experiment with this. So maybe bring your hands together underneath the body, pinkies down. Maybe you press up onto the ball of the foot. Maybe you press up onto the heel of the foot. Whatever works for you here. Maybe just pressing a little deeper and lift the belly button a little higher, shine a little brighter. Full inhale here. Complete exhale. Holding our posture. Full inhalation. Breathing through the hold of the posture. We hold posture, not breath. Breathing, always breathing. Full inhale. Exhale, slowly lower down. Bring the knees into the chest, reach up and grab just below the knees, squeeze, maybe rock a little side to side to release. Okay. All right, we got one more core thing to do here, and that's going to be our bicycle. So go ahead and let the feet go long and the palms turn up, and just take a moment to integrate. And our movement is next going to be a bicycle crunch. So this is sort of a combination of our crunch and our pistoning. So the knees are over the hips, the shins are parallel. Again, the hands come behind the head lightly. So we're not trying to pull on the head and neck. We're going to be gentle here. And then what will happen is we'll be alternating elbow to knee. So lower back stays on the mat, and we bring the right elbow to the left knee while we extend the right leg. And then we switch. So the left leg will go long, the left elbow will come to the right knee as the right knee comes in, and then just continue. Switching elbow to knee, side to side. And we're just going to do just a few of these, maybe 8 each side. Just feeling into this. So 1, 3, 4, 5. And again, your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. You count your 8. Yes. Whew, you can feel this one in the core for sure. All right, and then when you finish, release the shoulders, bring the knees in, reach up just below the knees and squeeze. And then let the legs go long, toes fall open, palms fall up, and take your rest. Full inhale. Woo! Feeling that in the core now. So you maybe feel a little bit of heat in the body. We've been working the core pretty good. Maybe not. Maybe this is all just gravy for you. That's all good. It's your practice. Be in yourself. But release here and take a breath. Full inhale. A complete exhale. Full inhalation. Complete exhale. Inhale here. Exhale. And then just roll to your belly. Either way, it doesn't matter. We're going to start with our cobra. So the hands will come to the shoulders, thumb at the breast line, inside the wrist, lightly touching the ribs, elbows moving toward each other behind the back and down toward the hips. Toes will go long to the bottom of your mat, press into the tops of the feet, feel the knees engage and lift. And then slowly begin to lift the crown of the head. Lift the chin, lift the heart, let the heart come forward. Now, you experiment with your hands. Maybe you pick up your hands entirely. Maybe you just have a little tenting of the fingertips, spider fingers, just gently supporting yourself here. Maybe you're pressing into the palm and the heel to lift a little higher. Find your cobra. Inhale here. And again, we're going to pulse this. So, exhale. Inhale with the crown long, the toes long. And then as you exhale, lift the crown. And then just continue. Inhaling down, exhaling up. Just a couple more. On your next exhale, hold and then breathe here. Feeling into this cobra pose. And then, if you will, walk your hands out in front of you on the mat and rotate your shoulders underneath, rotate your elbows underneath your shoulders. And then walk your elbows back a little bit because probably they'll be out in front of your shoulder. It actually is much tighter than you think. So imagine you're like pulling your elbows toward each other and down toward the thighs. Now your hands can be flat, forearms down. You can bring your hands to press against each other. Now, the tendency here is to relax the back and to clench the buttocks. So let us reverse that. Engage the tops of the feet. Feel the knees and legs engage, and then release the buttocks. So the buttocks are relaxed. The pelvic bone is actually on the mat. You feel the stretch in your abdomen. So that core that we've been firing up with all those crunches, we're now allowing it to stretch out. And just breathe here in our Sphinx. Feeling into this movement. Beautiful, wonderful time. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Inhale here. And all right. Full inhale. As you exhale, rotate the elbows out, bring the hands underneath the shoulders and press into a table and then back into a wisdom pose. Press the hips back toward the heels. Now, bring the hips to the heels. So walk your hips back to your heels. Maybe they don't touch, that's fine. Find a place that's right for you. And then again, release the head. Feel into this wisdom pose for a moment. Breathe in here. Feel that release in the lower back. And then if you like, bring your hand back by your feet, palms up, and release the shoulders. So hips are at the heels, lower back is released, and maybe the shoulder, you feel the shoulder girdle release as you turn the palms up and down. Maybe rotate your head side to side on your block, rocking your forehead on your block or your mat, massaging from temple to temple. Gently feeling this. Full inhale here. A complete exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Keeping the chin tucked, slowly begin to roll up. one vertebra at a time, saving the head and neck for last. Shoulders come up and roll up and down, chin lifts. Take a moment here just to allow everything to settle. Feel how the energy engages in the body. And then bring yourself off your heels and come around seated for our next breath. So find your seated posture, whatever works for you. We'll come into our next breath. Now, again, with the breath work, always the breath, always the body is very still. The awareness is on the breath and the focus is at the brow point or the tip of the nose. Very simple. We're just sitting and breathing. Don't overthink it. Hands will come to prayer. Front of the chest, thumb, knuckles resting, light line to breastbone. Light pressure here. So we're not pressing into it. And, so if you feel your biceps engage, you're probably pushing too hard. However, you do feel the dynamism in between the palms as the hands sort of support each other. That's a support, okay? And then our breath is simply going to be 4-part inhale, 4-part exhale. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. So you're going to break the inhale into 4 equal parts. In through the nostrils, pause at the top, and then break the exhale into 4 equal parts out the mouth. Pause at the bottom. Your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. So prepare yourself. I'll set the timer here so we don't overdo anything. Yeah, we're just going to be here for, I think. And we're just going to be here for a little bit. So take a full inhale to prepare. A complete exhale. And then begin the pattern. 4 equal part inhale through the nose. Pause at the top. 4 equal part exhale through the mouth. Pause at the bottom. Continue your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. Remembering to pause at each end. Body is very still, no stress, no strain, no overexertion. Awareness is on the breath in the nostrils or coming out the mouth. Focus is at the brow point if the eyes are closed, or at the tip of the nose if the eyes are. Just sit and breathe. And then notice your tendencies. Notice that the mind begins to wander. And then be gentle and compassionate with it. It is the nature of the mind to wander. Just gently and compassionately return your mind to your breath. And perhaps begin to smooth it out. Maybe you can make it silent, maybe not. Last few cycles here. On your next exhale, when you next find yourself exhaling, go ahead and just release the hands to the knees, palms up. Release the pattern, release the thought process, be very still. Just allow yourself to be for a moment. Feel where the energy has settled in your body, maybe right around the navel, maybe not. Notice for you. A full inhale here, a complete exhale. Full inhalation, complete exhale. And then come around to your mat. We're going to come into our heart opening posture here. Now we're going to do this in stages and be gentle with ourselves. So a great place for your gear, if you want to put your block between your ankles. We're going to come standing on our knees. So knees are underneath the hips, underneath the shoulders. Now the tendency here is to have the hips fall back. And so what we want to do is take our hands and make fists and place those fists in the small of the back to support, or take the heel of the palm and place it on the SI joint at the top of the buttocks so the fingers are extending down into invisible pockets, and then support yourself that way. So we're supporting the hips and keeping the hips over the knees. Now, for a lot of us, to have the hips over the knees, it almost feels like we're pressing forward, because what happens is our natural tendency is to be back. So we just want to support the hips. So we're not pressing so much with the hands as supporting the hips over the heels. Once we've established this, you can curl the toes of the feet if that provides more support, pressing into the ball of the foot. It also lifts the heels a little higher if you want to reach back. All right. Keeping the knees and hips aligned underneath the shoulders, lift out of the waist, lift out of the hip, and then lift out of the crown. Now, other tendency is for the neck to start to bob back, chin go up. We're not doing that. We're keeping the neck long, and we're just lifting out of the waist and out of the chest and out of the heart. And then once you've established yourself here, and you feel that it's opening for you, allow the body to open. Maybe a little bit of back and a little bit of arch in the back, maybe not. Feeling into this. One hand back to the block or to the heel. Maybe both hands back to the block. But notice you want to keep the hips moving, not moving, but staying stable over the knees. Breathing here. A full inhale. A complete exhale. Finding your posture. It's called camel pose. Big heart opener here. Shine the heart. Open the heart. Let that energy come up out of the navel into the heart space, which is where we want it to be as we move in. And just stay with this Full inhale, deep to the belly button. Breathe to the belly button. Now notice that maybe some constriction through the chest as you're opening the chest. So breathe to the belly. Full inhale. Complete exhale. Inhale here. As you exhale, slowly, if you have an arch in your back, bring the arch back. Bring the hands back to support the hips. And then gently begin to release the hands and just let everything settle. And then slowly begin to let the hips drop toward the heels. And then if you like, you can continue to round the back, dropping the chin to the chest and countering that pose. Hold that for a moment if you like. Then come off your heels and come back to seated for our final breath today, which is an activating breath. Going to bring that energy around to the heart space once again. And in this breath, the arm movement, if you choose, is going to be a simple. So we're going to exhale. So let's bring the palms into fists. So wrap the forefingers around the thumb. So the thumb is tucked into the fists. And we have fists. The elbows come back alongside the body. Fists come back along the ribs, perhaps. Elbows pressing back in you. Okay? And then we exhale. We cross the arms in front of each other. Inhale. Exhale. Cross the other way. Inhale. Exhale. That's your movement. Alternating on each one. And again, we're just going to be here for a little bit in this final movement today. Let's do that. Okay. So full inhale and begin. Your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. Now, if you want to add a little diaphragm to this, that's fine. Not necessary, not essential, because it almost feels like that anyway as you're actively moving the arms. You're engaged through that center party, but you're just breathing here. And again, find your own rhythm, find your own pace, find your own breath, find your own practice here. Body is very still except for the arms moving. Awareness is on the breath in the nostrils. Focus is at the brow point if the eyes are closed, or at the tip of the nose if the eyes are open. And we're just sitting and breathing. Your rhythm, your pace, your breath, your practice. Just a little bit more here, another 20 seconds or so. Just be with it. Last movement of the day, just stay with it. Inhale the elbows back. Gently retain this breath. Allow the chin to drop toward the chest. Relax the shoulders. Bring everything to the center of your being. Lift gently at the base of the spine, at the pelvic bowl, and at the heart. And then when you need to, exhale, release everything. Let the hands come to the knees, palms up. Let the breath restore to its natural rhythm and cadence. Be very still. Just allow everything to settle. And as you're settling in here, decide for yourself If you like to take your rest in this seated posture, or if you'd like to come down onto your mat as you move into guided rest. So if you choose to come down onto your mat, lying on your back, legs extended long, toes will fall open, heels will move as wide as is comfortable for you on the mat. Palms will come down by your hips, palms up. Crown will extend long. Imagine you could pull down on your side body, your side ribs, so that you feel your lower spine on the mat, and then just let go. If you're seated, same thing, just let go. Be very still, let go. And whether you're seated or lying down, take a moment to provide yourself with any additional support you may want here. So maybe you have an eye cloth, maybe you have a shawl or a blanket, maybe you have a bolster. Anything you need for your support in this rest posture, your final posture today is resting, the release, the letting go, being still and being, just being, just being. Releasing any shaping of the breath, analysis of anything, the breath or the practice, just let all that go for now. Just be, just breathe. Let the breath come and go. Receive the breath gratefully as it comes and goes. You don't have to even observe it at this point. Just be with yourself. And for a lot of us, it's just difficult to be very still and be with ourselves. And so if you must engage in tracking your body, seeking out any areas of constriction, contraction, any tightness, any perceived stiffness or tension, and then actively imagine that you can actively release. So I recommend you start at the soles of your feet and work your way up, but it doesn't matter. But looking for areas of tightness in your body, if you find an area that feels tense or tight or contracted or constricted, simply try to direct the breath to that area. Breathe into the tightness. And if you find perhaps that you're having difficulty breathing into the tightness, then perhaps try softening around what's tight. And you may notice that as you soften, you find support. Feel into all of the support that is available to you in this moment by finding the sensation of your connection to whatever it is that you're touching. So if you're lying down, the full length of your spine on the mat, back of your legs, back of your body, back of your arms, everything's supported here, being held. You're seated, sits bones rooting into whatever you're seated on. Feet flat on the floor, sides of your legs, feeling that connection, that sensation. It's being held. We're just resting here, allowing ourselves to just be. And the sense here is to see if we can't open the stillness. So maybe the possibility of stillness presents itself as we rest. And maybe we have a chance to open to that stillness, merging the stillness within and the stillness without, to the place where the separation of without and within disappears, and we are just still. And as you rest in your space, I'll take this opportunity to extend my sense of gratitude to you for coming and sharing your practice. Thank you so much. I'm honored to be here, truly. And I invite and encourage you to stay here in rest, in grateful guided rest, for as long as you like. And when you do finally rise, please take your gratitude and the echoes of your practice with you as you go through the remainder of your day, lifting yourself and all that you come into contact with. Have an amazing day.